We're recording. We're now recording. What's up, YouTube?
Yo, yo,
Cobra, Troll King, getting it done, son.
I
Neither
like that
one of us
shirt,
shaved.
man. I like the Troll King shirt you got going on.
Yeah, Troll King cometh. I gotta find a way to get an intro for my YouTube and like just have like that or have something animated. I don't know how people do that. I'm just gonna have to pay somebody to create it, I guess. But
Yeah, go on Fiverr. Go on Fiverr, man. Pay somebody like $20. They'll hook it up.
oh, nice. Yeah, I'll have to look. I saw a YouTube video that somebody was going to that. I gotta check that out. But we'll jump straight into it. Olympia. It's not news. Everybody's talked about it. That's the way we do things. We like to come at it after everybody's already told you everything we're about to say. We scroll through it. I guess. Do you want to start with the other divisions, or start with the big boys, or?
You started off, man.
Well, we'll start with we'll start 212
All
because I
right.
was actually pretty excited about the 212. Uh, you called it. You were correct on the 212. I feel like I don't need to put in a disclaimer, but just the way I see predictions is the way I predict it's going to happen, not necessarily who I think deserves to win or would win or things like that. Because Sean Clarita has been bringing it for a couple of years now, and not been getting the position that he deserved. I think he was ahead of Derek Lunsford both times that Derek Lunsford beat him. I thought he's been really consistent, and they just weren't rewarding it for a while. But this year, I guess it was just undeniable. It was, that rare time in bodybuilding, which can be such a subjective sport. He brought it so convincingly that they could. But as I understand it, it was a 1 point difference between him and Kamal.
Oh, really?
Because I mean, it obviously can't be taken away from Kamal. He came back improved. I mean, he did what he needed to do. It was nice polish. Had that dense muscle, came back, a little bigger, still just as cut, didn't sacrifice anything for the size. So Sean, I feel like should be unbelievably proud because not he beat the champ, and he beat a better champ, like a champ that brought something better. It wasn't like he didn't have to wait for Kamal to be off for a couple of years for the Olympia to not reward him. Granted, it probably worked, I guess, in his favor that Kamal was only a one-time Olympia, so it's not like they had maybe Flex Lewis, after he'd won 3 or 4, could have had 1 or 2. I don't think he ever had an off Olympia, but he could have had one, and they probably still would have given it to him.
Yeah, Flex Lewis has definitely had an off Olympia. That man's. But Sean did great, man. Yeah, I called it. I saw it. I saw it coming from a mile away. I don't know. I just and he was like fully blown too. You could see when he was pumping up backstage. He looked like a miniature 177-pound Ronnie Coleman. So
I heard somebody say that, and I looked at it. I was like, you don't
but
want to insult the guy, but you might, calling him a mini me, but he did. He looked like about 150 pounds lighter Ronnie Coleman, and a foot shorter, and he had that same dimension, that same wowness. Even the way, let me see if I can find a picture of him. Even the way like his glutes, like on his most muscular, will like stick out to the side. He's like, I've never seen somebody's glutes do that since Ronnie. Let me
that's
see.
the definition of full blown, sir. He was full blown.
Oh, there's a go with some comparisons. Let me share the screen. I'm on the buys and tries page. Guy just has the best pictures, man. Bring this up. Here's some compare. Look, I mean, in this picture, it looks he made Kamal look soft.
It's that roundness and that 3D pop. You know what I mean? He
That's
just
just the
looked
whole
freaky.
lineup. Whoa! Oh my God! I didn't know all these numbers. John Jewett dropped all the way back to 13th.
Yeah, man.
Sheesh. Let me see if I can find some better Clarita pictures. This is Clarita. If you didn't know Clarita.
You have Angel in there. You got George this year. Derek with the downsized legs that hurt him.
Yeah.
If he brought those up, he'd be in the mix with everybody else. Ahmad with the soft legs that hurt him.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal was with that.
Angel, I don't know. He's kind of outclassed with some of the crazy physiques ahead of him.
Mm-hmm. There's some classic stuff. We're going to get to that because there's some good conversations to have. Come on, man. Show me some more Sean Clarita. That's a good one. That's a good show.
What do you think about the other 212 guys?
Like I said, Kamal came correct. George, it's weird to say. Like, unfortunately with George, he has a complex now that he has to deal with where he came correct for so many years, rock just diamond hard, that now if he doesn't bring it like that, you have to gig him on that. Even though
everybody else.
Yeah. Even if he's more conditioned than everybody, you have to gig him because that's one of those occasions where I feel like he had to compete against his former self, and I don't think he was successful in that. He earned that third place all day long. I mean, but I think, and it's tough to say if he.
There's feathering in his quads. I mean,
Yeah.
he is feathered, but like you said, he's going against a 20-pound lighter version of himself as far as being in shape. But yeah, it was a solid third place. Next year will be his year. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Especially with the way he grew this year, he blew up so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, talking about for next year though, we gotta put Keown in and see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he just keeps growing he's growing like a rocket ship, man.
Yeah.
I don't think that screws Derek over because who do you think Ahmad or Ashkenani will bring it next year? Or Ashkenani or Derek. One of them's gonna have to fall off. Or Angel. Yeah, Angel's shape. I'm looking at his shape, man. It's not favorable. That has to hurt him a ton.
You think?
Yeah. Just looking at him doing ab and thigh in the first call out on this.
Let's see if he's got any pictures of himself. Angel Calderon, yes. Got any stage shots, bud? Why do these people compete at the Olympia and not put stage shots up? Back to Bison try to see what he's got going on. What placing was he? He was 7th.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 2. He's him right here. Yeah.
That guy that got 6, I wasn't expecting that.
I think he looks better than Ahmad. I think he looks better than Derek, honestly.
Yeah, he looked great.
I could see him. Let's see. Oleg Krivyayev. I'm probably butchering the shit.
Pretty close. That was pretty solid. Jeez Louise. Holy shit.
Look at that.
What? That's nuts.
That's nutty right there. I think, yeah. Oh, that's a lot of fries and burgers.
He definitely has some help with that.
Good Jesus Christ.
Yeah, see, that's what you want. That's what I need as far as hams and glutes. If I had those, I'd be good to go.
Oh my God. You. But yeah, I felt like 212 was very fair. I feel like Derek could have dropped a few more spots, but they weren't going to drop him a few more spots. You and I had the conversation. I really feel like he needs to go to the Open. Yeah, that's just me personally. I feel like, he's looked better than this.
Playing the downside because of trying to cut weight?
Could be. I mean, it could be his training style. I don't think he's at MI40 anymore. I don't know if he's back in Indiana, but he said he's training somewhere else. But he shows pictures in the off season, and that's where nowadays I'm at the point where I'm going to just stop looking at. It's like, I know people have to do it for Instagram, but it's just so misleading to everyone. And that's the whole point of it. It's supposed to add, bodybuilding itself is already a game of illusion and smoke and mirrors. And the pictures by yourself, there's a few competitors I'll talk about during this where they, were masters of that.
He was noticeably quieter than he has been in the past, though, honestly. So I figured he wasn't gonna, bring it like I felt like he wasn't as confident as, because the year before he was just like interview after interview after interview after picture after picture after picture. It was much quieter this year. So
yeah, even Clarita. Clarita went for that Dorian Yates tip of just, I mean, everything he posted was just training stuff.
I'm used to him being like that. Yeah, he's always covered up.
Hitting big weights, big boy weights, not even just like, yeah, they're big for his size, like strong motherfucker. But I mean, I guess, I don't know. If you work with Matt Jansen, I think you have to have like, on the application for him to be your coach, you have to show him your lifts. Like, you're not, you're not benching 405, and you're not going to work with Matt Jansen. But yeah, so 212.
Lower volume, it seems like it works.
Huh?
So he definitely likes that lower volume, heavier weight. It works.
Yeah. And I mean, he doesn't seem to get a lot of people injured, so I guess, you know, to his credit. I think
classic or open next.
We can do classic because I feel like I'm gonna have a lot to say about the open. The classic I felt like was really fair. I think somehow Chris Bumstead made so much progress on his back that he made Breon's back look small and not as good.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the front spread, especially, I think even with the worst back, Bumstead beat Breon on a front spread just because he owns that pose. But even on the front and back doubles, see if we can find a good one. I feel like he was beating him.
Yeah, he really came up. I'd say the change between last year and this year is exactly what he needed to win. I mean,
yeah.
You said he wasn't, complete. That was like a huge thing, and now he is.
Like, look at it. And what's confusing to me about him is like
torn hamstring.
Who did?
It doesn't seem to affect him. Chris does.
Yeah, well, some people, right? One of the better side chests in the game.
Yeah.
And so I think it gets a lot. I think Bumstead was the clear winner. We were right about I think we were mostly right about our top five. I don't remember exactly how we had it happening, but I know we had Lord Jones I had Lord Jones in my top five. That guy, and he made it. What was weird to me, or I guess not weird, it gets to me a lot closer when you compare Breon and Ruffin for second and third.
I did say Terrence was the dark horse, didn't I?
Yeah. And I agreed with you about that because, I mean, I have all the respect in the world for Terrence Ruffin. I think he's amazing. Fucking dude had me bawling my eyes out. I forgot that he had worked with Matt Porter for a while.
Do you think the antics during the prejudging had anything to do with the placings?
The antics?
Yeah. Did you watch the stream?
I didn't get to watch the stream. I was at work.
Oh, yeah. It was like, Kai and Phil up there, man. There was, it was intense.
Oh.
They had to reset a few times. Breon was like literally on top of Chris, like not really giving him any room, honestly.
Yeah, I had heard that. I mean, you and I had talked about it, that Bumstead had him shook. This whole year has not been the Breon that we all smiles, nice guy. I mean, suddenly he's talking trash on YouTube, and he's getting mad and like shitting on Nick's Strength and Power for being critical.
About it afterwards, but on stage it was war. It was war on stage. Same thing for who else was acting like that? It was intense, man. Classic for sure. It was intense.
Yeah, outside of
that. You gotta go back and watch this. You're missing a good chunk of what's happening.
Yeah, and going off pictures definitely makes it.
Because these streams are actually good. So so the streams are actually good. They're like HD, quality. They were good. So
that's what I kept hearing from people. I was just, if it was at work, not to go into details about my job, if I was at like the last plant I was at, I absolutely would have been able to get that stream, but things are just different at this one. I had limited amounts of time where I could be anywhere near a computer or like have any cell phone signal or anything. So I got updates where I could, trying to look at pictures, and I assume they must not have done much justice. We'll get to that when we get to the open.
If you can still watch it, I'll give you my.
Oh, can you? I'll have to check it out
All right.
just to see it. Because I know they were trying to clickbait that press conference about all the different stuff, and I watched it. It really wasn't anything. The Open had like no drama to it, and all it was Breon singing the same old song and dance. I'm more complete. I mean, his arms are still bigger. I'll give him that. He still has better biceps than Bumstead, but everything else that was dominant. That was Bumstead slam on the door. Like that's it. And I don't know. I have all the respect in the world for Terrence Ruffin. I think he's going to get better and better and better. I don't know what he's going to have to do to beat Bumstead. I don't know. I think that door. I think it might be slammed on almost everybody. And I know I got a little excited near the end. Huh?
Yeah, at least Breon and Terrence, and they're the closest ones to him. At least the door is slammed on them. So, yeah.
And that's what we had already discussed about, is the classic, is it a height thing too now? Like, I mean, that's good news for you. You're pretty tall. Like you, but some of these shorter guys, I guess the more muscle you put on and the blockier your physique somewhat becomes, then they say you're not classic. Like, as far as like muscularity and shit, like you couldn't do much more than what Peterson was doing. And it's getting to where you can't do much more than what Breon's doing. I imagine Breon's going to have to go to the 212. It's at that point.
That's the shape thing. I don't think it's not a height thing. I think it's just shape. Because, now Chris is wider than Breon is. Just like looking at the front double, the waist is smaller and the lats are wider. So even if he's short and the lats are wider and the waist is, tighter, then it should be fine,
Mm-hmm. And that's where I think Ruffin's good, because Ruffin actually has, I think I heard him say he's got like almost 10 pounds he can play with in his class. He comes in a little over and has to cut a little, but not nearly as much, as you would think. So he can, put 4 or 5 pounds on the right spots. I mean, he can definitely make it some hard battles between the two of them. But beyond that, outside of it,
he can pull down exactly.
Yeah, outside of the top 3 to 5, classic I think is just the most difficult to judge. It's got to be. There's so many competitors, and not many people are coming in looking total trash at all. And most people's their tan's good, like all the little nitpicky stuff that you can normally use to, like, if somebody's tan's a little off or their color or something like that, you don't really get that. The gloss, everything, they're all bringing in good packages. So it's a tough lineup. It's a tough class, man. It's going to keep getting tougher.
Yeah, I don't think it was, tough to judge when they're actually standing next to each other necessarily. If you just have to, I don't know. It's hard to. You just have to judge it objectively. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's easy to judge subjectively, but even just between first and second, Chris had a bigger lat spread. He had a wider, double. Looking at Lord Jones, what did he get, fifth? He's got he's got bigger quads. He's got, crazier looking biceps. I mean, those count, you know what I mean? That's tangible. You can see that, that's why they're winning. That's, what's the, I know his name is, Ricky Moten, that got 7th. He had huge quads. And I thought he looked really good. He might have been able to be a little bit tighter, and he could have placed higher. Danny Unen, he got 6th. I think he got like 6th or 7th last year. And I think he got like 6th the year before that. He's kind of one of those all-around guys. But yeah, then it kind of gets more difficult because Logan and DeAndre Campbell and Wesley Vissers. Wesley, he didn't come in as conditioned as he should have. That's why he's down there. And his hamstrings. He doesn't have quad sweep, and when he turns around, his hamstrings are shallow. That's why he's down there. The Hoffman guy,
Mm-hmm.
I think he could have placed higher. But other than that, I feel the judging was pretty spot on.
Yeah, it's a pretty big theme, other than one or a couple. I think honestly, for the most part, the judging was really consistent and good this weekend. I guess there's a couple spots that we can talk about where apparently people disagree, but I guess yeah, I guess we can move on to a few of those. I might save open for last. But so I guess the one big, and this is where I'm gonna have to default to you on a lot of stuff. Um, Listen,
What?
the female competitors in bodybuilding are monsters, and they train just as hard as guys. They eat everything is the same. It is by no means me shitting on a female division by me not following it as much. It's just bodybuilding's just one of the things that I really like, and I have athletes that I like, and it just kind of escapes my notice sometimes. But they get all the respect from me. I mean, they're killing it 24/7. They have to live the same kind of lifestyle. But so we'll start with bikini. I think you had messaged me. We didn't talk about it on the predictions, but obviously me and you messaged back and forth pretty consistently. You were saying that Laura Lee, you thought could jump up this time, and it didn't end up happening. I think it was
Yeah,
Janet Leog won this year. Is that how do you
yeah,
feel
that
about
was
bikini as a whole?
kind of a shocker.
You thought it was a shocker,
How I feel about it as a whole.
huh? How do you feel
Uh,
about the bikini
said, how do
this
I
year?
feel about I thought the lineup looked crazy. All the girls have more muscle than in the past. They
Mhm.
have crazy, like, shoulder caps. The quads are popping. The glutes are nuts, especially in the back shots. And you're seeing some of these faces over and over again, and their posing is getting better. Like they have more poise. They look more. You can tell they're more confident and like seasoned, especially ones in this top five, top six, top 10. But yeah, the judging was different than it has been in the past. But I say that's because of wellness. You see, yeah, Janet, she has the tiniest waist, and the reason I say they went a different direction with the judging is because she's smaller in terms of like glutes and having the X frame and kind of the lats, and some more of the pop, I guess, or some of the muscle size that the other girls have, and the way it had been going. When Angelica was winning, um, I was seeing that they were rewarding a little bit more muscle, and then when Issa won last year, she was like a genetic freak, and she definitely had some lats, especially in her posing that gave her that, I guess, that kind of silhouette. She didn't even make it in the top five. I think she got sixth.
Jeez.
Overall, everybody looked really good. Um, yeah. I mean, it was neck and neck between the top five. Honestly,
So
I
when you
think
say
the
wellness
result,
is
end
affecting it,
result,
what
yeah.
impact is wellness having on
They
the
don't want the
division?
glutes to be. They don't want the glutes to be big. They don't want the glutes to necessarily have as much size. You would think that you almost can't have too much glutes in bikini, but now you can. Now you kind of can. Now the proportions have to be altered just slightly, whereas before, I think, or I don't know why Issa wasn't top five. Her conditioning was off a tad, not enough for her to slide from the champion to sixth place. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Hmm.
There's something there. There's something to that in my head. So I think it might have been her glutes were, I think, the biggest bigger than the top five here. And like I said, her conditioning was off, but not enough to um, throw her out of the top five. So I don't know. I could be wrong though, but yeah, that was the only shocker I really had.
Right. Right. Let's share the screen here. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can see, because I guess that whole I mean, that's kind of what the wellness is built on now, as I can tell. Which I don't want to oversimplify, but it seems like that's the whole thing. Is it's a glute division. And
The
I thought they
glute
had said it was
and
supposed to be.
um,
It was like devised for women that I guess had more developed lower halves, who felt like they didn't have a place in bikini. But you're saying that bikini was kind of moving in the direction to reward that. So that's kind of I don't know, the weird thing. I guess maybe wellness, and maybe they're starting to get the same kind of stuff like men's physique had, like when they had physique, and then they did classic physique, and then there's all these different kinds of different things. Because that's the main thing, and I always feel like I'm being disrespectful when I don't understand the differences. But things like there's physique, then there's women's bodybuilding, and it just seems like physique is designed to be like a smaller women's bodybuilding, or maybe like a women's bodybuilding for women that wanted to, I don't know, retain a little femininity, I guess. Uh,
oh, be careful. Oh,
this
what do you think? The ones that aren't in the physique don't retain any? What are you trying to say here? Oh,
it just seemed like you see certain women's physique competitors that will look great and come in diced up. I keep mentioning Corinne, Jordan Peters' partner, and get told like, well, you're too diced up. You should probably go to women's body. But like, of all people, Lee Priest, who I don't always agree with, I feel like a lot of times I don't agree with, on RX's show, put it in a way that like made a lot of sense to me. Is like, almost these women competitors have a harder job than most of the male competitors, because the notes that they get are so odd. Like, you got to come in hard, but not too hard. You got to get conditioned, but not too conditioned. Like, you need some muscle, but not too much. Like, how difficult must that kind of a prep be to just kind of, you have to get like 75% of the way there and just kind of hover and keep it at the right spot and come in. And for all you know, the judges, like this year, you're saying just completely are going to pull the rug out, and they want something else. And I would assume it's got to be really disheartening at times. Like, shit, man. Yeah, I did what you said to do, and now it's just so. I mean, moving to through that. Obviously, we had the Miss Physique, or Physique Olympia, who I thought, from what I could tell, what little I know of the class, I thought Shanique was kind of almost unbeatable, just genetically. And you and I had talked before this. By no means to disrespect Sarah. Let me pull her up. Trying to remember her last name. She also looked great and is super conditioned, and so did I already have her page? Sarah Villegas looked killer, looked amazing. But it just kind of, I guess there's that confusion over like, that's where, like, that's sick. Like, her shots from the side were amazing. Bring up Shanique.
Yeah, she handled business. I mean, she always put the complete physique. She was complete last year. She could have beat Shanique last year. Shanique has better genetics, but Sarah had a better. She was harder. She was more conditioned. As far as the straight up bodybuilding standards, she won. She had more muscle. I think the knock on Shanique is that she brought not necessarily the same package, but maybe they wanted more muscles. Maybe what I can think. That's the only thing I can really see is they wanted either more muscle or more condition.
Yeah, I guess. And that's, if she brought, maybe that was the thing. She thought she brought the same package, or that's what people are thinking. If she brought the same one but didn't get rewarded, I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough about it. Maybe she got notes from the judges and didn't improve on a thing or didn't do something. I know she was working with John Meadows now. I don't know. I know there was, of all the entire weekend, that was like
working with John.
Hmm?
I think working with John too. Now that John doesn't know what he's doing, but maybe just because if that was their first time together, then that could have been another reason she came in off.
figuring her body out. And,
Yeah. The first time is like, damn, because
yeah,
especially when you're looking at a body of a freak like that, you can get confused on what is conditioned, like how conditioned can she get, or how conditioned does she get,
yeah.
when you're dealing with certain bodies, you know what I mean?
Because I
Just
mean,
trying
it's
to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I don't know, that's
yeah,
all.
it's second place. I mean, it's not like she got, I guess, like the Elisa, she didn't get knocked out of the top five or anything. I mean, and as I understand it, that was a 1 point call as well. There's a few of those this weekend. Like it was a 1 point call between the two of them. But I mean, he obviously had a good week. Another, I think Missy Truscott, I think her last name's Truscott, won the fitness, and then she works in. And obviously, Terrence Ruffin got second place. He works for Terrence Ruffin. But yeah, the whole weekend, I think the only thing that was really controversial, so from what I've seen, was that. At least that's what people are saying is that was super, like, what the hell were they looking at? Which, I felt it was important to bring it up here
Yeah,
because I don't know, in a way I thought that was disrespectful to the Sarah Villegas. It looked like she killed it. She brought in a great package. Sometimes that's just kind of how it
who's
happens.
saying stuff about it?
Huh?
I'm not on these sites that you're on. Who's talking
These
trash, man?
sites,
I'm not on these sites.
fucking Instagram, man. I mean, look at a comment section. Look at like a Bias and Tries where they show these pictures and look at the comments.
Okay. Let's see.
And every show, Fuads and RX, they're all they were.
That now, but yeah.
Huh?
Bullshit. They lost their fucking minds. Somebody said good decision. Hashtag Rob, boo, not cool. I don't know what they saw, bro, but congrats. What a robbery. Shanique got robbed. I think Natalia and Shanique both look better than Sarah. What the hell? Are the judges high? That wasn't even close. Shanique was a clear winner. Congratulations to the athlete, but I would like to see the summary because I confess I'm confused about it. Okay, well, I mean,
Do you think I was
I'm
making
not
it up?
that confused. They just love her. They just love her. Wow. Oh God. What cock did she have to suck for that win? The IFBB is garbage. What is the reason for these people's attitudes?
And that's the reason I brought. Yeah. You thought I was exaggerating. That's how people are reacting. And I was just saying, like, I honestly think that's
somebody.
Even if it was the case that it was bad judging, which we're saying it wasn't. What convinces a person to do that? Like to speak that way about this hardworking judges and this competitor, like with comments like that and just massive. It's like, I guess it's like when Ian won the New York Pro. It's like, or I guess the better comparison is Jay Cutler's 2007 Olympia, where it's like, I won and I want to feel super excited, but damn, Frisco.
He did lose that shit. He did. I mean,
No, it's not like the 2007 Olympia because he shouldn't have won that, whereas she should win this. But it's one of those where, like, should you be happy about winning? I guess I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know why people are the way they are sometimes, especially on that. Yeah, it's the internet. Anytime women's figure, you're gonna have to take point.
Did you watch the stream on that?
Hmm?
You gotta watch these streams, man. Did you watch the stream on that one?
I didn't watch the stream on any of it.
Did you watch on any of it? Okay.
I didn't watch the stream on any of the Olympians.
This guy. All right. So Nicole Graham, her posing routine was nuts. So she surprised me, and I thought she could have placed a little bit higher. I think she got fourth. Sydney won, of course. She just brought a slightly more refined version of what she brought last year. Natalia Sotero, she got second place. I think that's Andrew's client. She looked absolutely incredible. She could have, I think I could have seen her possibly winning. Let's see. Latoya Watts, who's been getting second, for the past few years, I think. She got fifth. She looked really great. Then one surprised me. Her name is, she's Asian. I'm not sure where she's from exactly, but her name is like Onda Jong. Her last name is Jeong, and I think that's her Instagram too. Um, yeah, the Jong IFBB Pro. But she surprised me. She was probably like the highlight. Well, her and Nicole Graham were probably like the highlight. Um, so you'll have to. I'll send you a link. You'll have to check her out because she was, absolutely incredible.
Nicole Graham.
Well, yeah, her Instagram is World of Zenobia. Nicole Zenobia Graham. I think Zenobia is her middle name.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, see if you can pull up her page, and then pull up her. See if she's got a video of her posing routine. I think she does.
Is this her routine? There you
Um, it's on there. Yep, yep. Got some classic physique going on in there.
go.
Does a crucifix and a victory pose.
She's bringing it back.
Single bicep shot.
Crazy backward.
Doesn't skip the rear delts. Never skips rear delts. Look at that. So her hams maybe could have been a little sharper. Then she does this little 360 turn here. It's like lagging, but I guess that's okay. Yeah, she was incredible, man.
Looks like, so you're saying she deserved to be above fourth.
Yeah, I think she could have got third. I think I would have seen her in second or third. I would have been happy. Um, yeah, she looked really good. And then, no, see that the Jong IFBB Pro down there underneath where your mouse is? Yeah,
Uh, here
there
we
you
go.
go. There.
Any stage shots or that's pretty nuts right there.
She was just follow her, man. She looked nuts. Maybe we'll catch her sometime, but she looked nuts. I was
Oh,
super impressed.
nice.
She stood out on stage like 3D for sure. All right, so where are we at now? Now are we to the open?
Yeah, I guess we can go to the open now. I just
I had to fly. You gotta throw some respect on those, man. They were so good, especially the Olympia. Like go back and you gotta watch it. You gotta check it out.
yeah, it's but I mean, how many
It's
times do I
worth
have
checking
to how many times do I have to acknowledge it before you don't think I'm a bad person anymore?
out.
Yes, they do. They deserve immense respect, all of them. It's a lot to do. I mean, if you get on that stage at all, you deserve respect. And if you get on the stage, the best stage in the world for all these divisions, no matter what division it is, the Olympia is still the pinnacle of all of them. So if you're up there on the Olympia stage, then you get respect. You might not get equal airtime on Cobra and the Troll King, but my 31 followers.
All right, Ian versus Hunter, man. Ian fucked Hunter up. I wasn't expecting that. I thought Hunter was going to place higher than Ian.
Yeah.
I had Hunter going in there. I thought it was going to be close, but I thought Hunter was going to just put the screws to him again. I was wrong. Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
Ian. When they called them together, watch the stream on this because they called him. Steve was like, "All right, Hunter get in the middle, Ian get in the middle," and then it just you could tell it like erupted when they got next to each other. You could feel the energy, man. And yeah, Hunter was just a water buffalo both days. Not a water buffalo, but he was just very. Um, he was holding so much water that he was just, dripping, sweating. It was coming out of him in prejudging and finals.
Yeah, from what I
Um,
had heard from a couple different pages were saying one of the big problems with Hunters was, believe it or not, his for how perfect his color was at Tampa, like his color was an issue at the Olympia. From what I heard,
yeah,
see if I
he
can
just
find
had
something
a
better.
really heavy scene from the get go, and it was because I don't know. It was just like they still can't figure out how to push out all the water. And I feel like in their past shows, he comes to prejudging with heavy film water too. So I don't know. But I don't think that would have helped him beat Ian though. I will say that he kind of
Specific
got him this
comparisons
time.
between the two of them. Yeah, his back looks soft as hell.
So I'm sure that'll make Hunter, hungry and come back even stronger. So we'll see. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll
That'll
be.
be fun to watch.
That was one of those
And then
secondary
your boy
storylines.
Keem got sick.
That's the big. That's going to pull him up. I was so unbelievably because I remember before I even checked was able to see updates on Instagram. I got to my phone first, and you had told me you just said Akeem, and that's all you said. You're like Akeem, like a caps. And then when I got on and saw that he had gotten first call out, which meant he was going to be at least in sixth place, I was just so unbelievably happy for him. I mean, just
Look how wide he is.
that's ridiculous. To make that jump, I forget. I think he was like ninth last year, and to make that jump into the top six, was just that puts his stock at a whole new level, in my opinion. Um, there's I don't even have anything like to add as far as actual objective bodybuilding fan things. I'm so happy for the guy. I think him and Oscar. I didn't realize him and Oscar had been working together as long as they had been. They've been working together for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, about 3 years now.
They're just, and I wonder, do you think they're just figuring it out at every show, or maybe he's getting older, so it's getting a little denser and easier to come in shape, or is it just
No, I
every
think
year
they
he's
figured
just
it out. I think they figured it out maybe last year. Last year, and it's just they're just getting better now. They have figured it out, and they're just getting to get better now. Like I think, like that slew of shows that where him and like Juan Morel was going back and forth, and he was competing. And he was getting tighter and tighter. I think they learned stuff then, and I
Mhm.
think now he's good to go. It's just now it's coming in, with the exercise or the extra little bit of crispness. But I think they found a way to get to it. Um, I think knowing how to do it and being able to execute it are different,
Right,
because
right, right.
sometimes you can just miss time it, damn, we should have started cutting 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
or what I mean, but or a simple. But I mean, he was conditioned. That's why he got sixth. He still can be tighter. Um, do I think it would have brought him in a higher placing this time? Not necessarily. So
I don't.
I
Yeah,
say good job to him.
I don't think anybody in that top five. I don't think even a slightly tighter Akeem could have taken it. I know some people say, especially we showed those shots, especially in his upper back. He could be tighter and bring it in and show some more detail. Um, but I think his back shots were some of his more comparable to the top echelon. It's just very obviously the big
Yeah, the
elephant
best.
in the room,
Uh,
the big Egyptian elephant in the room, Mamdou Big Ramy Elsbia, however you pronounce it. won Mr. Olympia. So everybody kept saying is that Remy had the tools, and if he would just bring it, he could win. I hope I can't imagine that this is the most it that Ramy can bring. But I mean, points were due. Finally, I think Chad Nichols more than anybody has figured him out. I think that last little bit of time with Dennis James, kind of, I don't know, drill sergeant. I don't know what exactly Dennis James did, other than just train him and give him a place to stay.
Talking about it. They were talking about it afterwards. In his speech, and Ramy, he was just, you could tell he was just elated, and he was just like, the question was, what was the biggest difference? What made you, bring in this package? What made you believe that you could come in and win this thing? And he was like, Coach Chad and Dennis, he was just like, Coach Chad, believed in me. He told me that we could win, and basically that we would come in tighter and that we could do it. And then he said, Dennis, they would, like, every day for an hour, they would pose, and basically till he was about to pass out. And he said, when you have the sand out, you'll be happy, and you'll say it was worth it. And apparently, it was. But that posing, you could tell, that they just posed over and over and over and over. And that's what Dennis was saying, like, we just pose over and over and over, at least, minimum hour, post cardio and post workout, like they were just drilling it. And I think that you could tell he was hitting the poses first, coming out of the poses last, and then in his freaking posing routine, he was like doing like a jog, across the stage, back and forth.
It didn't even sweat.
Then he's playing air guitar. It was like, oh, he put the nail in the coffin there, man. He was just chilling. And that was like before comparisons, I think. So it's like, you know what I mean. So he had plenty of stamina, and he said now, and Ramy has that broken English. He only has a select few words he can say, but he said, yeah, I could keep going and keep going. I could do this all day, basically. So, he fucked Phil up with that. You put them next to each other, and then you got Phil coming into the pose last and breaking first, and then you got Big Ramy doing a fucking avatar like he's about to pull a vacuum. If you you got fucked up. He fucked you up.
Yeah, it was very and big. We were wrong on multiple levels. Phil didn't win, and Brandon beat him. But this was very.
So that's got to be a feather in Brandon's cap, even though he lost.
Yeah, and if you lose to, I think we all knew in the back of our heads that if a good Ramy came in, like if Ramy came in on, all bets are off. It's just. How can you bet that on predictions? Because obviously we've got 7 years of Ramy not bringing it in and not, coming the way he could. So unbelievably excited to see that. And what's exciting to me about Ramy is he can still be a lot better. He can still tighten that up. His back, he's big, but his back needs a lot of work. Like it needs a lot more detail in it. And honestly, his lower back, it's weird to say because it's big Ramy. Like there's more muscle he can put on, like specifically in his back. Get the legs a little diced up a little more. I think the biggest thing with Phil was I think the 2018 Phil might have still been able to win this show. It is clear that he took 2 years off because it wasn't just his midsection, which honestly I've seen different pictures that make it look like certain poses it wasn't bad. Other poses you could see.
It was bad. It was bad. Watch the stream.
There were a lot of poses specifically. I think we were talking like his front double and his side chest shots that were normally like Phil's to win. He was having to crunch down so much to keep his abs tight that it was just throwing everything off, like beyond just throwing his shape off.
Like he was in pain.
Huh?
It looked like he was in pain pain trying to hit those, man. It looked like he was in pain trying to hit those shots.
Yeah. I think
So
I don't know if something happened at the last minute or if him and Hani were just like I don't know. The question I have is, you're Phil. Do you just have that much ego that you think you still have this problem, but you're still going to come back and win? Or because now is this, tarnish his legacy in any way? I mean, I still think even with only 7, I think he's in a conversation at his peak for being, the best to ever do it. There's definitely he's got to be discussed. I mean, Ronnie had a few wins that he didn't deserve, that he looked real off, that didn't affect his legacy at all. So I don't know that this, hurts him, but now in this age of social media, I think it might. I think you come back and do something like this, people are going to remember it. And it's still,
yeah, it's part of legacy for sure.
Me personally, I think Hottie beat him. I think Hottie should have been third. And then when you put Hottie and Brandon next to each other, there's the talk of Hottie being second. I think the thing that hurt Hottie the most, just from what I could see in pictures, you were watching the stream, so you know better than me. I think Hottie came back lethal for the night show, but not night show, but the finals. But at prejudging, he was maybe slightly off. Some of it could be down to him trying to upsize. Some of it could be he showed up in the States a lot later. He couldn't get into the country early to try and stabilize things before he started. But even still, Hottie's going to be trouble for Big Rammy. If Rammy keeps bringing it in tight, then Rammy is Rammy. But even you and I had talked about this, the crazy thing about like when Rammy stands next to Brandon looks small. And Brandon's not like an incredibly small person. But when he's even standing next to Phil this year, I was a little wrong. Like this lineup really made Phil look narrow. People have been talking about for years. He's got the narrow clavicles. It didn't matter because it was so 3D, and his shoulders were caps, and he looked like a freaking World of Warcraft character. Like he didn't look like a real person. But this year, I could see it. He looked narrow. But for some reason, and maybe I'm just giving the guy too much praise, but Hottie didn't. You wouldn't have been able to tell that there was like 80 pounds difference between Hottie and Rami on stage because he was full. He was hard. I don't know. I think that's going to be a good rivalry going forward. I think 2 years now of showing up and being like this, I don't think they're going to be able to keep Hottie back much longer. Like eventually it's going to have to start reflecting.
Yeah, I had Hottie and Phil swap. Yeah, I had Hottie in second and Phil fourth. Honestly, yeah. And there's a clip of it where Hottie, he's like, if you didn't see the stream, he's like looking at Phil's stomach, doing like this, and like Phil is like ignoring him. But you know how Phil would look at Brandon's hamstrings? He's doing that. Hottie does that to Phil on his midsection, and he does like this, and he does like this over Phil. And Phil ignores him and throws up the front double, but Hottie throws up the front double next to him, and he's still like looking at his stomach. He's like, I know Hottie's probably not happy about that, man.
I heard that. Like last year, he was
distracting, man. It was like visibly distracting. It was worse than like it took up the whole screen. It was almost like the cameraman even zoomed in on it. It was like it's the star of the show was Phil's stomach. It was very distracting from everything else.
I had heard that on a couple places. Like last year, not even arguably, Hottie should have beaten William, but where he was, like Hottie was happy. But I had heard this year that Hottie was actually upset. Like he actually was not happy with the way the judging went. Which I don't know if that's weird. I know him and Hani worked together, and Phil and Hani, and I know they took pictures afterwards, like at a dinner or something. But that'd be the weirdest thing for me, with both of them having the same coach. But yes, that's the top 4. Bonac in 5th. Same deal as Hottie, really. Prejudging, didn't look like he was himself. Came back locked in at finals, looked a little better. The thing about Bonac,
waist up Bonac having a while.
Huh?
I said that's the tightest waist I've seen Bonac have in a while.
Yeah, and his legs were back up. Like I know his legs were down a little bit last year, which was one of the knocks against him. And But that's the thing is, like, I think his placings are starting to reflect it. I think this is just, I don't think there's much of a better Bonac we can get. I think that's kind of like what he showed up for at the finals is kind of what Bonac can be, which is top 5 at the Olympia. I mean, an amazing, amazing bodybuilder. Not to be taken
I
lightly.
think
I
it's
mean, he's almost like a blade himself. Like, if you show up a little off, he can slide in there. But, whereas Hadi can do a little more with this bigger weight cap. Rami can still bring it in tighter. Brandon can still be working on those legs and, needs to be still working on those legs and bringing it in a little more. I think Bonac is just tapped. I think next year, I think Akeem might be able to pass him up. Because Akeem.
Yeah, and the thing about Rami is he can still just come in tighter, and he still doesn't have to grow. He still doesn't have to get any bigger. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, his lower back will develop, but everything else, it still really doesn't have to get any bigger. He's not enough to focus on it. You know what I mean? Not enough
Right.
to I mean, he can still get that much better now that he is like, okay, they're going to reward me if I'm in tight. That's even more motivation to keep doing this. Stay down, keep your weight down like this, So,
He's freaking 289 pounds. And what's funny is kind of weird because they, I don't know if I can find any on here, but if you've been on Instagram, they've been doing a lot of like left and right comparisons between 2018 Big Ramy and 2019 or 2020. Not a lot of difference. It's like supposedly 21 pounds difference, but I don't know if it's just water or what, but like the 2018 ones look relatively similar, especially the side and the back shots look almost the exact same. I think it was just the front where, his quads were a lot more defined this time, and his midsection looked a little better. And, like you said, the posing can't really be, even for my one show I did as an amateur, I know I benefited from the posing practices that you and I were doing and just hitting them over and over and over again. I noticed the difference it made where people around me were getting tired, but I was able to keep going. And I don't know. I'm really happy for the dude. I'm looking forward to some good battles now. I think someone else had said it that I think it's going to be a while before we have another 7-time in a row Mr. Olympia. I think the lineup is getting so good now. You're not going to have a lot of those night and day ones. I think Hadi is going to keep pushing him now that Hadi can consistently get in the country. I think Akeem's dangerous in the sense that he looks as big as Ramy as far as in the posing. I know he's not in real life, but he has shown he can bring it in tighter. So, I think Akeem could be a problem for somebody like Ramy. I don't think just being big is going to be enough anymore, which he's going to start bringing it in tighter and tighter, or I think he's probably got another couple wins in him, but I don't know. It's exciting.
I have to agree. I think he can come up, but Big Ramy is a force. And now that he's going to repeat what he did this year. He's going to stay with Dennis again. He's going to work with Chad again. And that's going to be bad news, they're going to do even better. There's nothing that says they're not going to do even better and improve on what they've done. I think refinement is the name of the game. As well as Hadi is going to do, I don't think he's going to knock Big Ramy off. Do I think Big Ramy can win 7? No, probably not. Do I think he has 2 or 3 in him? Probably. But by then, yeah, you're right. Somebody like Akeem or, even Hunter or even Patrick Moore or what's the guy? Hector or some of those crazy, freaky physiques. Those Marcus Hector or whatever.
Hector.
Those guys will be, those guys will be big by then. The guys that are trying to come up. So.
Because I think Mark took the route that Samson should have taken, where Mark saw the writing on the wall and immediately was like, I just got to grow. I got to grow. I think if Samson will fucking do that same thing, I think he can be making some big noise coming forward. He's got great shape. He's just got to grow. I think I love James to death. So if him and Patrick can figure it out like Patrick did for Ian, I think James can be dangerous. He's growing in all the right places. And I think somebody like that I'd love to see like a full on like James like he was at the Europes next to Rami on the back shots, just to see what the two backs look like next to each other. I don't know. It's exciting. This is gonna be an exciting couple years in bodybuilding. I think we're starting to see a changing of the guard. I think I can't imagine Phil comes back for another one. Uh,
He's done, man. If he's smart, he's just getting relaxed, dude.
yeah,
He has nothing to prove. He has nothing to prove. And like you said about tarnishing your legacy, if he did it again, that would tarnish his legacy for me. It's like, dude, why? You're like, he's still the best in my eyes. Like it's between him and Ronnie. I know, Ronnie's really the GOAT but I don't know if it's more so because of his attitude though. Like Phil, man, it's all good, dude. You got nothing to prove to anybody. Still,
yeah.
just do something else. Do something else. There's other shit you can do. So
Keep
yeah.
that company going well. Just find a venture. Open a gym. I don't even know. I mean, yeah, he's the gift. He's Phil Heath.
If he
That's
finds
I think you
another
said
lane,
best. There's nothing to prove. You've got nothing to
yeah,
gain
he
and
needs to
everything to
find
lose.
another lane where he can get people that to like him again. Because the lane that he's in now, it's like people hate him again because he was talking about that shit, and then he had bad sportsmanship in the again. It's like, dude, Phil, come on, man. At least you didn't deliver. So now it's like now you kind of owe us at least to be not a jerk, you
Yeah.
know, for us for me to spend money with him, for me to So I don't know, but yeah, he's still one of the best to ever do it. But if he keeps doing it, that's gonna mess up his legacy for me.
Yeah. That's a wrap. That's the 2020 Olympia. I don't know. Is there anything you need to add? Anything you think we didn't cover?
Cool. Yeah, we didn't do men's physique, so I'm not. But I know you didn't watch it, so it's all good. It's all good, man.
I saw the pictures. I know
Watch
you and
it.
I.
You need to catch up on these streams and watch these shows, man. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, just to show some financial support to the industry. It was by no means. I mean, you know me. You know the money that I spend in this industry. That I didn't buy it because I knew I couldn't watch it that night. I didn't know it was still available. I'll certainly buy it and check it out and support the sport, and get more educated on the women's divisions, because they are badass competitors. They do the damn thing, and they do deserve more airtime from everybody. But they can at least get it from the Troll King. So, but all right, man. I'm gonna see if the
I try
wife
not
needs
to
help.
insult.
Huh?
All right. So I'll try not to insult anybody too much on these. All right, take it easy, man.
Later, dude.